Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, gonna go over a story titled, My Wife Remorselessly Cheated on Me and Also Got Pregnant from Her Affair Partner. And guys, this story is one hell of a revenge story. All about a guy who's married to his wife for like 20 years and 2 kids, 4 and 5 years old. We're both in their 40s. And lo and behold, one day, through a very interesting source, he found that his wife was up to no good. But you're going to see his wife's behavior has shown that she's been up to no good for a long time in terms of how she treats him, the kids. She's just a mean wacko, lack of a better term. But he finds out, yes, she's having an affair. And instead of freaking out about this guy handles it like a boss. And holy crap, does he get her? And does she pay? And he makes it like a bandit because he's living in a at-fault divorce state. That'll be a very good one to go over here, guys, just for you guys that like a story about a guy that goes through hell, but definitely comes out on top. Justice will be served. And believe me, as I get into the story halfway, you're really going to be aching to see justice served here. But the story also shows, guys, that you have to always pay attention to the red flags. And you can't go around with your head in the sand, rose-tinted glasses, whatever you want to call it. You need to always look and see, if you relationship, guys, how your wife or girlfriend or fiance is behaving, how she treats you, and all sorts of things that just, if they don't seem right, you got to investigate, because otherwise, it's not going to go well. And also, I might add, what happens when a guy clearly gives up all the power in the relationship, when he's too good to a wife that doesn't deserve it, who he puts on the pedestal, makes the center of his universe, all that, and who certainly doesn't deserve it. It goes to their head. And of course, the age-old hot crazy scale. The more beautiful and good-looking a gal is, almost always the more nuts she is and entitled. And you're going to see that quite often in this story here. But again, you'll enjoy it because justice will be served in the end. He starts off saying, I'm not sure if this is the right sub, but I can't think of anywhere else to post this story. For those who remember me, I'm the guy whose wife made our kids release a wild bunny in the middle of our yard after I advised her to have the kids take it to the bushes to release it safely. A hawk took the bunny right in front of both of our kids, 4 and 5 years old at the time. Oh my God, that's traumatizing. And they freaked out on their mother, then came running back to me in tears. Our kids started calling their mother Bunny Killer. The name seems appropriate now, and other people called her that as well after her affair got out. What happened with that poor little bunny is ancient history compared to what I have to tell you now. I'm speaking as a free man after finishing divorce a couple months ago. This is going to be pretty long and complicated, so buckle up, and yes, I'll include a little more details. Bunny killer, huh? He says, I did show my wife my original Reddit post, and she was very angry with me. So much so it caused a big fight. And after that, I got silent treatment for another week. Oh, that's real healthy. So the lady who's heartless and didn't care about the kids, and they saw that the bunny was grabbed by the hawk, and she could care less, and now she's mad you won't talk to you for a week over this whole thing. Clearly, she had other signs of being a nut job before that, and why you're still with her, Lord knows. I try to make my kids stop mistreating their mother after the bunny incident, even with being punished by small groundings and timeouts. But the bunny killer nickname kept coming back every time our kids got angry with her mom. My wife let up on her cold shoulder routine after a couple weeks and conceded that she should have listened to me about the bunny and should have taken it to the bushes, like I said. 2 weeks, the silent treatment. Anybody does the silent treatment, they are terrible communicators. It's a manipulation tactic, and you should cut ties with them. But you'll see, this guy really should have cut ties with her a long time ago. She claimed that she just felt like she needed to defend herself because she didn't want to be wrong. When do women ever not want to be wrong? I accepted an apology and apologized myself for making the Reddit post. I wanted us to go to marriage counseling, but she refused. She acted like there was nothing wrong with our marriage. More like there's nothing wrong with her. And I decided not to push the issue further since things were seemingly getting better all along. Smack! If you want to do marriage counseling, you can't back down because she's giving you resistance. You're backing away from what you want to do, and that is weakness in her eyes. But after a few weeks, my eldest came to me saying she wanted to tell me something. There was another reason why she was so mad at her mother, other than just the bunny. But she was scared to tell me. I comforted her and told her she could tell me anything. Well, what she said shocked me and changed everything in an instant. She said that for months, Mama had been bringing a man over some Saturdays while I was at work and had referred him as her special friend. Oh my God. She got her kids to keep quiet about it by various means of bribery. but my eldest realized that something was wrong with it and spent some time working up the courage to tell me. Kids know things and pick up stuff very quickly. I really dislike it when people dismiss those facts. Yeah, kids are very aware of things that are going on. It's amazing. And they can pick up on BS. It's truly interesting and how that tends to go away as we get older. Maybe because we become then so preoccupied with other things in life, we don't have the same insight and intuition and observation skills that kids have. I noticed my wife was acting a bit different lately. She'd been more short with everyone, especially the kids. I tried talking to her about it when I showed her my first post, and she just went off on me about any little thing she could think of. Insulted my appearance, my character, my habits, even my side of the family. She even brought up that I used to smoke. I quit over 10 years ago. Then she resorted to locking me out of our bedroom and crying so loud you could hear it all over the house. This lady is nuts. Dude, what the hell? How'd you end up with her? Let alone have kids with her and stay with her. At least you got your kids you love out of her, but that's it. This chick is a wacko. So when my eldest came to me, I ended up putting the two and two together. She was cheating, and her behavior was similar to the mood swings she had while she was pregnant with both of our kids. Similar, I say, because it was even worse. From what I've gathered, searching online, and what friends and even accounts have told me, my wife was both very moody from hormones and projecting because of her infidelity. I can't claim to be an expert in psychology, but it does seem to make sense. Okay, fine, it makes sense, but ditch the bitch. Enough's enough. She's terrible. Multiple fronts. I want it all to be misunderstanding, but I quickly ordered and set up a few hidden cameras without anyone knowing. I had them delivered to my work just so no one at home would see them. Then I set them up on a day my wife went out to have a girls' night with her friends. It was very easy to hook up then and connect them to the Wi-Fi. In just a few short hours, I could monitor every part of the house from my home PC, laptop, and work PC. At first I was worried I might have been going overboard. I thought if it turned out I was wrong, then I could remove the cameras and no one would ever know. Dude, when you have your kid telling you that the wife has a special friend, a dude coming on Saturdays when you're not there, you can do whatever you want. Don't feel bad. And how this guy hasn't just gone right to the divorce attorney, I don't know. But then again, obviously he wants to get proof. Then he can go. So I get that now. But him keeping it cool is pretty impressive. But no, my worst fears were confirmed as I got plenty of evidence in just the first week alone. The man my wife was taking as the affair partner is a former colleague of hers. Of course, it's always the work friend. I remembered him quite well as they seemed close with my wife whenever I met him at various functions. My wife had quit her job years ago to be a full-time mom after getting pregnant with our first child. It was a mutual decision for both of us at the time. My wife stayed connected with her former coworkers as they were her best friends, but not anymore. What I'm about to tell you has pretty much made her hated by everyone. He says, first of all, the affair partner is younger than my wife by about a decade. She mentored him at a former job to fill her position when she left. Well, he's been filling many of positions with her ever since. And the two of them stayed close, very close. My wife and I are both over 40, but you wouldn't know it by looking at her. She's positively stunning. She got mistaken for someone in her 20s quite a lot, and I guess she capitalized on that. I ended up confiding in my sister about what was going on and showed her the footage from the nanny cams. She told me she suspected for a while, and she said she'd seen my wife once at a local bar getting a bit too close to the man that wasn't me. Okay, sister, that's nice to hear. Now, why the fuck didn't you tell me this before? Seriously, why didn't you tell me your suspicions? Now, okay, maybe this sister, kind of like feeling that she'll be, don't shoot the messenger, that type of thing, or who knows, but still, she should have told him. A guy wants to know. But there you go. He says his wife looks quite young for her age, very beautiful, hot crazy scale. But they never kissed or anything while she was watching. Just lots of touching on the shoulders and lower back. That's more than enough. She's a woman. She knows flirting when she sees it. And since she wasn't sure, she didn't tell me sooner. I ended up ordering a GPS tracker as well. After I got it working, I hid it in the trunk of my wife's car. The trunk of my wife's car. My sister and her husband agreed to help me and followed the tracker of my wife's next supposed night out with her friends. She went to a completely different place 20 miles further away than where she usually goes, and from there she met up with her affair partner. Oh, how modern technology can really help out. My sister and brother-in-law observed them from some time from their car. I noticed the affair partner kept rubbing her belly while they were talking, and they recorded the video of this too. When I saw the footage, I knew she had to be pregnant with his baby since she was so moody at home. It sounds like she was a moody asshole regardless if she was pregnant or not. My sister and brother-in-law had to calm me down because I turned into a complete mess. I wanted to self-medicate with alcohol, but my sister very correctly told me that drinking is the worst thing I could do at the moment. You're darn right. I get when people are in pain, they want to escape the pain by any means necessary, but that just makes the situation worse. Lately, I decided to take a leave from work, but I told my wife I was actually going to be on a business trip. She could have been more excited about it and didn't try very hard to hide her glee that I'd be leaving for a while. And sure, she's thinking, hey, I can have my boyfriend over all the time now. Who was this woman? She's certainly not the one I married almost 20 years ago, right? Did someone who looked exactly like her just take her place one day? Is she an alien from the pod people? Did I ever really know her? The more I thought about it, the less it made sense to me. So my end conclusion was that she was trying to make sense of anything wouldn't do me any good. Dude, I know as a guy you want to fix things and rationalize things and say, where did things go wrong? Where did I go wrong? Whatever, but it is what it is. I think this is who she was all along. And it just got worse and worse over time. And again, because she's beautiful and gets attention from guys, she probably her entire life has gotten special treatment. And clearly this guy was the nice guy that she married and settled for, because you can tell he's putting up with bullshit that any of you guys would never put up with, knowing what you know now. And obviously sticking around for the kids. So she has that leverage over him. So I had cameras all over the house, and my sister and brother-in-law agreed to take my kids for a few days because they love visiting auntie and uncle in the city. This gave my wife the exact opening that she wanted. A lot of things your wife is having openings right now. She called the affair partner only a few hours after I left, and he showed up that evening to spend the night. I won't go into any detail about what they did around the house, but you can fill in the details yourself. But on top of that, they were joking about me continuously. They openly talked about their baby and how they need to figure out what to do before her belly starts to show, as she was already over 3 months along by then, and there was no way it could be passed off as mine. The affair partner is a different race from me, so it'd be pretty easy to tell the baby wouldn't be mine from birth. Well, they always say, good old Chad and Tyrone, so it looks like this is Tyrone's baby here. This poor guy. All he wanted to do was just have a good family life, raise his kids, be happy, but good fucking luck having that anytime in today's world. My wife brushed the affair partner's concerns aside and said they had months to figure it out. Then she shamelessly admitted that it wasn't even her first affair, as she slept with other men when she was 29 years old. Good God. I'm sure you guys were all thinking the same thing I was thinking, that this can't be her first rodeo. She's a darn good-looking woman for her age, and obviously gets a lot of attention from guys. No way this is her first time. Now he has to question, are these even his kids? She told the affair partner she was sick of having to act like the good housewife and was tired of being around a boring man like myself that made her feel old. Bitch, you married that guy on purpose. Why? Resources. A ring on your finger. That's all on you. And if it wasn't for me being so financially stable, ding, 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 she would have left me a long time ago. Even her affair partner asked about her plan is with the kids. Her exact words were, he can have them. Oh my God, she's a witch. She's evil. Her own children, he can have them, I don't care. Hot crazy scale. She didn't even want to be around our kids anymore because she thought they liked me better. And she soon be having her do-over baby anytime. She's actually calling it a do-over baby. Don't worry, guys. I know you're wanting to throw beer bottles at this point. Justice will be served, I assure you. I very nearly threw the laptop on the floor in my motel room because I was so disgusted with her. But I contained myself, drank a few beers from a six-pack, got some dinner and then watched a movie. After that, I spent half the night just laying in bed thinking until I finally fell asleep. I thought I knew my wife so well. I loved her and would have given her all that I had. Smack! Oh, we figured that out, my friend. And yeah, you want to be the good husband and father, but when you act this way, and clearly he was the put her on the pedestal, clearly I'm not going anywhere, baby, that type of guy, giving her everything, your happiness is more important than mine, look what happens. I guarantee the guy that she's hooking up with, clearly it's Tyrone of Chad and Tyrone, doesn't do that. But in the end, some people are just evil. and you can never really know who they are until they reveal their true self. I made up my mind that night to destroy her in a divorce. Hallelujah! I'm normally a very kind and calm man, but get me angry enough and I can become your worst nightmare. This guy's like the fucking Incredible Hulk. You won't like me when I'm angry. I went to see a law firm for divorce lawyers that very next day and asked for the meanest lawyer they had. I live in an at-fault divorce state. Hey, there you go. Clearly she wasn't aware of this or didn't think it would matter. So my wife was screwed the moment I had her affair on camera. Well, she's been screwed for years. The lawyer was initially apprehensive that I wanted to hire him so quickly, until I explained my situation in more detail. And I even showed him some of the video footage. That's when he got a devilish grin on it and we shook hands. He said he'd start right away because this was the kind of the case that divorce lawyers love to dig their teeth into. Sure, it's not a whole lot of work for him. It's an at-fault divorce state. He's got all the evidence right there. Makes the job easy. And I think a lot of these divorce attorneys have been burned themselves, so they take extra special joy sticking it to the cheaters. I had my wife served a few weeks later on a day I was working from home and the kids were in school. Oh, please tell me there are cameras to see that footage. The eldest is in kindergarten and the youngest is in preschool. So they've been married 20 years and just now they have 2 kids that are like preschool and kindergarten. That's kind of weird, but okay. The papers were delivered right to my wife's hands by the local sheriff. The cameras caught it all. She looked scared while she was opening the envelope, read the contents, and then lost her mind. Hey, you can go live with Tyrone. Tyrone will take very good care of you. She came running into my office to scream at me, but I remained cool and calm the whole time. I'm sure that was pretty hard to do. I was already completely mentally checked out of our marriage. My wife wanted to argue. I just told her I made up my mind and I wanted her out of my house. And I'm the only one who's ever paid for the mortgage. She screamed at me that I can't do this to her. And then actually threatened to tell people that I beat her if I take her to court and get me fired from my job to boot. Of course, because in today's world, they can say that and the guy could pretty much be in deep shit. But I hope the cameras are recording her threats. Think about that. I told her to go right ahead and make up any lies she wants. It will not help her. It's not like she wasn't planning to screw me over since she was pregnant with her affair partner's baby anyway. She went wide-eyed and asked me how much I knew. I just said I knew enough, and told her once that I wanted her to leave again. She refused and said it was as much her house as it was mine. Then locked herself in the bedroom again. I saw on the bedroom camera her having a meltdown, and then pulled out her phone and calling the police. Oh, remember she's on camera saying, "Hey, I'll make up a whole bunch of stuff about you," that the police can see. She was acting like she was in complete panic, but there was a huge smile on her face while she was doing it. She was quite the actress. I believed that performance over the phone in a heartbeat if I didn't already know she was a liar. I waited for the police with the front door wide open and told them to come right in when they arrived. They were initially hot-blooded and ready for a showdown. Of course they were. Can you imagine her phone call to them, crying and hysterical? My husband did this, my husband did that. Of course, he's the bad guy. But the house was clean and there was no signs of any sort of fight. My wife came running out of the bedroom and grabbed the vest of one of the officers while crying and saying I was a maniac. I asked one of the other officers to let me show them the evidence of what was really going on, and he agreed, which really startled my wife as she was not aware that I had recorded her. I showed the officer the footage from the cameras on a laptop of my wife saying that she made the stuff up to ruin my life. Cops don't like that. And then the footage from the living room after she ran out of my office and into the master bedroom down the hall. And then the footage from the camera in the bedroom of her calling the police and lying. I'd recorded it all, and from multiple angles, no less. And even though she claimed to the police I'd hit her, there wasn't any marks on her, but the cameras all around the house showed a completely different story. Then I handed the police a thumb drive and said I had all the video footage they needed of her calling them under false pretenses. This guy is awesome. For all the mistakes he made with her and all that, he's making it up. He said, hey, you don't want to get my bad side. This guy, don't make me angry. My wife, even in the face of all this, stuck to her lie, saying I was an abuser, and I even tried to say the recordings were illegal and therefore inadmissible. Of course, you could say he did all this stuff when the cameras weren't going on. But this is what they do. They're master actresses. The Oscar goes to the bitch wife. And they'll stick to these stories and cry and waterworks, and they will deny any wrongdoing. But I point out that they are legal because they were security cameras inside my own home and not recorded in public. I looked to the police and told them to do something, to which they did. She was put in handcuffs, and she started bawling like a child. I could only sit there shaking my head. This is once the woman that I loved for so many years. I thought she was a wonderful, intelligent, and endearing person. No, she was a great fucking actress, my man. And I'm sorry you fell for it. And I'm sorry your kids have had to have her as a mom. But you know what? You're going to win. You're going to make out like a bandit, because I know how this story ends. Justice will be served. I could not have been more wrong about her. As the police took her away, she screamed that they couldn't do this to her. But they didn't fight back much. Otherwise, didn't fight back much. Otherwise, resisting arrest would have been added to her charges. I then shut down all of her credit cards that were in my name and stopped any future payments into the joint bank account. So she had to use entirely her own money to bail herself out of jail. She saved plenty all those years while she was working, while the mortgage was only on me. Dude, you had a mortgage all these years, and she was working and making good money before she stopped working to be a mom, and she never made one single fucking mortgage payment. Smack! What the hell's the matter with you for allowing that? However, you're going to see this will come back to be a good thing for him in this at-fault divorce state. So she was anything but broke. When she came back for her car, which I'd taken the liberty of packing a few suitcases full of her clothes and some other things, and left the key on the seat. So she wasn't even able to come back into the house. My wife's parents did come by to speak to me the day after she bailed herself out of jail. Initially, they only had the backwards story that she told them, which is basically the same thing she tried to tell the police. This is why I don't let them control the narrative. She had immediately gone to the grandparents and told them what happened. Her father especially was ready to attack me. Old as he was, he's big and strong. But when I asked him if he knew anything about my wife's affair or her pregnancy, he looked very surprised and gave me the chance to explain myself. I pulled out the laptop again to show my in-laws what I'd recorded. When they found out the truth, they were disgusted and said that they couldn't believe this person was their daughter. They apologized to me and said they would keep in touch to help out with my kids. Great. Then they called my wife on the speaker right in front of me and confronted her about her lies. She tried to double down until they said they were with me right then and there and saw the recordings. They knew everything and wanted her out of the house immediately. Goodbye, asshole daughter. Awesome. She tried to backpedal, but my in-laws said they did not raise her to be a selfish, adulterous bitch that would try to frame her own husband, and she was no longer their daughter. She's having a bad day. They disowned her right over the phone right then and there, and they hung up before my wife could say anything else. She tried to call back, but they ignored her every attempt, and when they got home, not only was she gone, but she destroyed several things around their house. You know, these parents are probably thinking, where did we go wrong? We raised her well. You know, parents are at fault for a lot of things their kids do, particularly when they're younger, and a lot of things boil down to how you're raised. But there are times when you have good people, good parents that really try their darndest to raise their kids with good values, good manners, a good environment, be good people, and they're just bad fucking seeds. And typically the bad seeds are people that usually are very physically good looking and got away with anything in their lives, regardless what their parents did. And I think it would be the hardest thing for any parent. I'm not parents, I don't fucking know. The hardest thing for a parent to know that you did your best, but still you have a bad seed and literally your kid is something the world could do without. That's got to be just so terrible and heartbreaking. But right here, what the parents are handling right. Get the fuck out, you're not our daughter. You're a grown-ass adult. You made these decisions. You're not a kid anymore. We don't want anything to do with you. She destroyed many things around the house, which my mother-in-law was in tears about. I still consider my ex-parents in-laws because they still drop by from time to time to see their grandkids. But my ex is definitely dead to all of us. My wife later came back with her affair partner in tow to pack her things. The affair partner wouldn't even come in the house, and my wife refused to speak a word to me while gathering her remaining things. She knew there weren't cameras everywhere, and she damned herself more if she tried anything else. I wasn't alone either, as my sister and brother-in-law were there to help keep an eye on her. Good. Very smart. Have witnesses. The brother-in-law made sure to keep his eye on the affair partner from the window. My wife was still packing when the kids got home, and she made no attempt to speak to either of them, not even when our youngest cried for her. What a heartless a-hole. Her kids are crying to her, but this is her way to punish and hurt the father. Hurt the kids, hurt the father. She's evil. Before leaving, she did take a few of the photos we had of each other from our wedding off the wall and threw them on the floor to break them. I think she was expecting a reaction out of me because of the way she looked at me while doing it. But since I didn't say anything, she just took the last of her bags and walked out the door. Hey, hand that footage to the divorce attorney. Can show the judge right there. This is how she feels about our marriage. And the cameras are recording her ignoring the kids while they're crying for their mom. All reasons to give this guy everything he wants. After she was gone, I had to call my elderly mother to come stay with me for a while because I couldn't take care of the kids myself. I couldn't take a lot of time off work and didn't have a lot of daycare options either. I also ordered a DNA test for my kids. I was sure they were mine, but several people told me that just in case. I had to know. Thankfully, yes, both my kids are mine. And yes, I did get tested for STDs, and I'm clean, so no worries there. Thank God. After all this shit, if he found out that his kids or one of the kids was not his, or an STD or something like that, just thank God. About a week later, my wife showed up back at my door saying that she would agree to a clean divorce if I did as well. Meaning she'd have gotten half of everything if I agreed. But I said no to her face. There was some fighting back and forth, and she more or less admitted to finding out the law in the state was not on her side. And that's why she's back. We met, got engaged, got married, and lived our whole lives in this state. There was no way she could get out of taking a major loss unless I agreed to settle, which I did not agree to. Then I said that she betrayed me, our kids, her parents, and practically everyone by having an affair. Then I slammed the door in her face. She left quietly and didn't see her again until court. Yeah, the only reason she's there is to bluff you, to try to get a better divorce settlement. Nope, you're not getting shit, asshole. A few months later, in divorce court, my wife was visibly quite pregnant by then, and she got a lawyer. The affair partner was also nowhere to be seen. Of course, because Chad and Tyrone don't stick around to raise the kids. Before it was easy, when he thought before probably Chad or Tyrone, probably Tyrone in the situation, thought, hey, she would make out like a bandit in the divorce and have all this money, but now that she's not, he's nowhere to be seen. I expected her to lie to the judge, which she started to a few times, but I had enough video evidence to refute any lies. So she really didn't stand a chance. So instead, she tried to drag out the divorce by simply refusing to cooperate and make various demands. She wanted most of my savings for starters, and she wanted a long list of other things that I own. And she wanted me to buy out her half of the house, even though she never paid into it. On my end, I was pushing for full custody of the kids and to get her name off the house's deed. I had the video evidence to back up how she said that she didn't really care for the kids anymore too, and how she would make up lies. Man, him putting that video surveillance system in his house was the best money he ever spent. My wife tried to stall, again, and repeatedly change her demands, but the judge didn't let her keep dragging things out. This being an at-fault state meant that she was entitled to very little since she was the adulterer, and her attempting to frame me only made her case even worse. In the end, she lost all custody of our kids, and walked away with nothing more than her belongings. What could be considered a fair financial settlement, considering the circumstances, and the car I previously bought for her. The title was in my name, but I signed it over to her without care as part of the settlement. She made no attempts to even speak to our kids during the entire divorce anyway. So I got full custody, the house is entirely mine now, and I'm completely free of her. Awesome! This is one of the best stories I've heard in a long time, with a guy deservingly making out quite well. Now, the kids are like 4 and 5 years old, and obviously they're hurt, but you know what? At least they're still super young, and this guy can be the most amazing dad ever. But something tells me, given this guy's made out like a bandit, she'll be back. She'll be back when she realizes she can't take care of herself and it's too hard, and she'll come crying back and want to be in his life and their lives one day. Nope, don't let it happen. I love it when a story like this where justice is served. My now ex-wife did try to keep up with her lies about me to others before and during the divorce. Of course she did. But my sister spread word around of my wife's infidelity, and soon all mutual friends cut her off when they realized who was telling the truth. She and her affair partner left town together after the divorce ended. I heard the affair partner wasn't fired, but he was transferred. Where? I do not know. But I do know my ex had to go with him. They could have transferred him and my ex to freeze in Greenland for all I care about. I'm just happy they both left. My ex should have had to do her baby by now, and I hope it was worth it to her. I guarantee you her life is a living hell, and she deserves it. This is not what I thought I'd be posting on Reddit after just talking about my wife releasing a bunny where a hawk can get it. But many of the comments I previously got about how my wife was acting made me realize I should have been paying more attention to the red flags long ago. I guess I just kept those rose-tinted glasses on for the entire marriage. But it's all over now. Thank you to any readers who made it through this. I know it was a lot to read, but this is my life. A lot of guys do that. I tell you all the time, watch out for the red flags. Or nowadays, you got to dig for red flags. And of course, yeah, so many guys have the rose-tinted glasses on to see things not as they are, but as they want them to be, and look what happens. He also says here, I got my ex's name off the house's deed because all bank records could be dug up and showed only I ever paid into it. My ex was also repeatedly argumentative with the judge. You never, ever be argumentative with the judge. Are you out of your mind? It never goes. But she's such a hothead and spoiled and narcissistic and full of herself and all that. And she's thinking, I can get my way, even with the judge. Wrong. And in an at-fault state, being a confirmed cheater puts you in a world of trouble during a divorce. It's comparable to having a signed prenup against you. And when I said I got the meanest lawyer at the firm I went to, I meant it. The man was like a bear and a shark. The payout my wife got was $60,000, and she also got the car I bought new for her a couple of years ago that cost me $50,000. She will piss through that $60,000 like that. The car was paid off, and I transferred the title to her. My ex was also offered partial custody of the kids, but since the video of her saying she didn't care about them anymore had been seen, she didn't bother to have any custody and willingly relinquished all rights to our kids when she realized she couldn't get her way. Yeah, the only reason she would have kept partial custody of the kids is obviously to get child support and get money, but since she wasn't get that, didn't make a difference. And for those who might think the police would have arrested my ex for lying, think again. The police here don't mess around. Or wouldn't have arrested my ex. And my ex, with a sociopathic grin on her face, tried to frame me as a wife beater. That's plenty of grounds for arrest. The end. Hey, what a great story. A happy ending. So guys, there you go. There is occasional hope and justice in the world. But look what he went through to get where he is right now. So anyway, guys, that'll be a very good one to go over here on a Monday. That is it for today. Be sure to comment down below and think about this. And guys, you find a good story you'd like to send me, whether it's a few pages long or a really long one like this, definitely send it my way. strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. I'll definitely cover it on here. And this also goes for any short stories you got or personal stories that I can talk about and go over on the Strong Successful Male channel. And by the way, if you haven't done so already, definitely subscribe to my other channels if you haven't done so already. Strong Successful Male and SSM Clips. They're all going great. Although YouTube has definitely had it out against me and other channels lately, not promoting too much. So any of you guys that subscribe or share with me, share my channels with your friends or family or people that need help, definitely is a big help and appreciated. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.